are back, and today, 8 guys that can be league winners in your Dynasty leagues, man. 8 rookies, 8 amazing names. They're guys that are underrated NFL draft prospects, all on the offensive side of the ball. We have 3 names that are more recognized than others, names that you should be aware of by now if you've been watching the videos. And then we got 5 names, man, that these are good sleeper picks, and they will win your league. Number 1 on my board is Omarion Hampton, man. I actually have him ranked as the 2nd best rookie, so I'm a bit higher on him than other people. A lot of people have him like number 5. I've got him as number 2. That's why I'm saying that he's underrated, man. I think he's definitely, besides Ashton Jenney, he might be the 2nd best player in this class to come out. In 2023, 1,500 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns. In 2024, 1,700 rushing yards, 15 touchdowns. That is good progression. He also went from 200 receiving yards to 400 receiving yards. The PPR upside is there, which I really like a lot. The fact that he can be a reception back, I mean, he had 2,000 scrimmage yards in 2024. Yes, Ashton Jenney had 2,600 rushing yards. That's great. But he only had 150 receiving yards to go along with it. Now, yes, Ashton Jenney had the 600 receiving yard season prior to that. But, Omarion Hampton is the 2nd best receiving back in this class, if not the best. So that's why I think he's underrated. Next guy is Quinshon Judkins. People actually have him as like number 10, number 11, number 12 in their rankings. I'm a bit higher on Judkins. I actually moved him up from the playoff performances he had to number 5. Now, am I a psycho? Maybe, but he was a very early breakout. He had 1,500 true freshman rushing yards. And then Ohio State hasn't had to use him as much. They've been splitting the backfield with Henderson. He's had 16 touchdowns, 15 touchdowns, 14 touchdowns, all rushing, as well as, add on a couple receiving touchdowns every season as well. He's a receiving threat. He's averaging around 150 receiving yards a year. But really, the efficiency. He's an elusive type runner. We've seen him go in between the tackles in the playoffs. He's got NFL caliber. We'll have to see what kind of draft capital he gets, because it's a bit concerning. Does he go round 2, round 3, round 4? And where does he end up? Can he be a starter immediately? Or is he going to be second fiddle to someone? That's going to be a main factor right here for Judkins. But I think he's underrated. Another guy is Caleb Johnson. Caleb Johnson, I have him pretty high as well. I have him right behind behind Judkins at number 6. Johnson did nothing in 2022, nothing in 2023, and then he was one of the best running backs of the year in 2024 for the Hawkeyes, Iowa right there. 1,500 rushing yards, 21 touchdowns, and he had 2 receiving touchdowns as well. So he had 23 touchdowns and 200 receiving yards. He's an underrated PPR receiving back option, and he had the touchdown to go with it, man. Put him in a starting role, and I think he will thrive. He's very, very good, man. He gets the additional yardage, very good vision, a nose for the end zone. And, even his O-line wasn't great at times. So he did a very good year. So those are the 3, major name underrated guys. Now we get into some guys where, let me tell you, breakout seasons too. Harold Fannin Jr., the tight end 3 or tight end 4 on a lot of people's boards. He is slightly behind Loveland on my board, but I think I have him draft him end of round 1, beginning of round, no, not end of round 1. Draft him beginning of round 2, boys. Tight end receiving record for single season receiving yards, single season touchdown record, 1,555 receiving yards in 2024. 10 receiving touchdowns and 117 receptions. Talk about talent. Just the numbers alone. Now, yes, Bowling Green Falcons, blah, 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 unrefined, bad team, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I don't care. The stats, the numbers. There's one thing in life that does not lie to you. It's like, it's like taxes, and it's like how taxes, you can't avoid taxes and death. The numbers ain't lying, boys. The records ain't lying. I like Harold Fannin. He's underrated. Jalen Milroe is up next. Now, while I'm calling him underrated, he's underrated trash. He's not a good passing prospect. This guy reminds me a lot of Justin Fields. He's not a good passer, although Fields actually looked good at passing, so it's a bad comparison. But he had 16 touchdowns and 11 interceptions passing in 2024. Now, 2023, he went 23-6, so that's a lot better. Now, the reason he's underrated, look at the rushing upside, man. It is major. In 2023, he had 530 rushing yards and 12 touchdowns. In 2024, 730 rushing yards and 20 rushing touchdowns. Yes, please. Thank you. Sign him up to be on my fantasy team. Savion Williams is up next. Savion Williams, again, we're talking about end of round 2, round 3 type talent right here. 600, he's the receiver for the TCU Horned Frogs, TCU, 600 receiving yards on 60 receptions and 6 touchdowns. That's not great. But oh wait, he's Deebo Samuel 2.0. He had 51 rush attempts and 322 rushing yards for 6 yards a carry, as well as 6 rushing touchdowns. Dual threat. No one's talking about him. I am. Sign me up. Cam Scatterbo. I mean, this guy, I don't know if, at this point, I don't know if he's underrated, overrated. I don't know. But I know that now he's on my board. And his stats were very good. 1,700 rushing yards. He had 600 receiving yards. Now, the efficiency might not have been as good as some of the other players. He had enough touchdowns. He was highly used. The usage here was key. I just don't know if an NFL team is going to give him, a starting back chance. I don't know if he has the size, man. But now I know he has the hype. I know he has the passing game usage. Again, 600 receiving yards and 45 receptions. So he might be, that third down back where if he gets the opportunity from an injury, now he's a league winner. So I like him. And Bashal Tootin. Dude wasn't even on my top 35. Now he is. He had 1,200 rushing yards in 2024. He had 15 touchdowns. He's had seasons. His 2022 season was actually better than 2024. He had 1,400 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns, but he had 342 receiving yards. So he's shown that he elevated that Virginia Tech team. And if the right opportunity is there, we could see a breakout from him in 2025, depending on the landing spot, because there's a bunch of running backs that can get drafted this year. Smash the like and subscribe button, boys. Who you got being underrated? Let me know down in the comment. Peace out. Thanks for watching.